This is the Infinity Summit Group. Truth, passion, success.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Infinity Summit Group podcast. Today is February 13th, 2023, and today we'll be talking a little bit about government, kind of about the Articles of Confederation, maybe some silver, gold, current events, just fun governmental things, and of course, speaking about the Founding Fathers. I'm Noah.
Xavier.
Logan.
Jesse.
Yes.
And now, we were just talking about how much gold there is in the world and how much the U.S. reports will say.
Right.
They report having 8,000 metric tons of gold.
Yeah, it was 8,133.5 tons. Metric tons, whatever that is.
So break this down for layman's terms. A ton is 2,000 pounds, right? That's 32,000 ounces per ton. Now, we have 32,000 ounces times 8.125 or thousand.
Yeah. Wait, okay,
So we got a few million ounces of gold in reserve.
So that's how much one ton is worth.
So 1 ton of gold is this right now.
Uh-huh.
So right now is approximately worth $60 million. Achievable. Just kidding.
That doesn't
Doable.
seem that much in the scales of money that they
Yeah, I
work
feel like
with.
it would have been way more.
But 60 million times 8,100.
Right, I'm not thinking.
See.
Let's see what number that comes out to. It's a few $1 billion in storage.
Times 8.
I don't even know what that number is.
Fuck.
4.8 to the 11th, not 11th power. 4.8 E11. Yeah, 11th power.
So that's you
No,
move it
E11.
points.
That's 11. Yeah, decimals, not to the 11th power.
So what does that equal?
So you're 48. Let's see.
There's
4.8. Move the decimal place
is
over
it 48 billion.
11 times.
I think 9 is a billion. 9 zeros is a billion.
What the fuck is happening?
So you're saying we have a few hundred billion?
That sounds not right, but I swear 9 zeros
there
is
you
a
go.
billion.
Oh, yeah, that I can read. There we go. 483 billion, 408 million.
That's
in
a lot.
Reserve.
That's a
I
shit
think.
ton.
Yeah, that's like our military budget for half a year.
I was going to say,
That's not a lot.
yeah.
You know how we preach reserves of like 3 to 6 months and then plus some?
2021, we spent $801 billion on the military.
Oh, my God. Yeah, so that's half a year of only our military defense budget.
Well, now that you put it like that, it doesn't sound like that much.
No, what's our actual cash flows in the U.S.? Like, how much money do we spend in a year?
It's like a trillion.
There's
or
gotta
a few
be-
$trillion.
Yeah, it's
or
got to
some
be a
shit.
few $1 trillion. Minus the last few years, because obviously that was way more. But our
1.93 trillion.
that's like average.
Oh, wait. U.S. has spent this. The U.S. government has spent 1.93 trillion in fiscal year 2023.
Okay.
So is that already?
So in 2 months, we've spent $2 trillion. So 400,
So I guess.
yeah, $400 billion. That will last us like 2 weeks.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
Huh.
Is that right, though?
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's-
Yeah. Look
Yeah,
at-
it says the U.S. government, not even the fucking people with their credit cards. Jesus
so
Christ.
Is
Well-
that the budget or is that the?
well, you think about
That
it.
might be the debt ceiling, which they're trying to raise.
Let's see. U.S. debt clock. Here we go. I love this app.
It sticks me out, dude.
It's disgusting. Yeah.
It's gross.
So our total U.S. national debt is $31.5 trillion. Let's see,
I
and
feel like
our
it would be more than that.
total revenue, U.S.
Most of it's
revenue.
recent. So
Let's see. Okay, so our total U.S. national debt, $31 trillion. Our U.S. gross domestic product, that's like everything we produce in the U.S., $26 trillion.
So by that, you'd be like 2 years to pay that shit off.
Well, that's the U.S. total
if everyone in
federal.
America put in.
Yeah, the federal, state, local spending, $9.6 trillion.
Wait, are you sure
My
it
God.
says the U.S. total debt is 94 trillion 169 billion 778 million.
So I'm just looking at the debt clock, which is our current national debt, and it's going up. Of course. Our deficit, U.S. federal budget deficit. This is the official budget versus how much we actually make. Has a deficit of $1.4 trillion.
Oh my God! So we lose that a year.
Yeah.
That's
how much
mostly to China.
That's how much debt we add every year.
Oh my Lord!
So far. But it's disgusting.
Yeah, that's a little bit embarrassing, really.
Money creation, U.S. Treasury dollars being created, $840 billion. Currency and credit derivatives, that's going to be like, well, currency and derivatives are essentially like things you buy with your currency that are technically investing, like stocks, bonds, all that jazz. But that's currency and credit derivatives, which is derivatives are how we crashed the economy in 2008 because people would gather a bunch of subprime home loans, bundle them together, and sell them as a mortgage-backed security, and they were backed by subprime loans. So that's kind of what a derivative is. People go and buy bundles of people's debt as an investment and just keep doing that shit. So currency and credit derivatives right now, $646 trillion.
Bad news bears.
Yeah. U.S. debt held by foreign countries, $7 trillion. Trade deficit, $1.2 trillion.
Food stamp recipients, 46 million.
That's not bad.
Living in poverty, 42 million.
Oh, 40. I was thinking spending, not.
U.S. bankruptcies,
Oh, my God.
439,000.
Social Security liability is $22 trillion. Medicare liability, $35 trillion.
Oh, my God.
U.S. unfunded liabilities, $181 trillion. Oh, my God.
Credit card debt, 1,220,000,000. Yeah, that's all you need
Liability per citizen in the U.S., $542,600. So if everyone was able to pay that, we might get rid of our liabilities.
to know.
We could get rid of those people.
Which is just like Social Security, Medicare,
Oh my God.
and unfunded liabilities.
Well, we start doing
I'm
what Canada's
sad.
doing.
We're quitting the podcast. No.
What'd you say?
So we start doing what Canada's doing and getting rid of people.
Yep. Suicide.
Are you sad?
Social
Would you like to
Security.
kill yourself?
That's wild.
Did they legalize suicide or something?
It's been for a
Medical
while.
assisted.
They had a veteran not too long ago that needed like a wheelchair, and they basically said, "Have you considered suicide?" Instead of giving him a fucking wheelchair.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
That's fucked up. But I agree with if you want to commit suicide, just do it.
So our total assets per citizen is $539,247 versus the total liabilities of $542,602. So per citizen, we have a $3,000 deficit per citizen compared to like all assets versus all liability kind of thing. It's just, that's rugged.
Yeah. I would agree with that, except without the government involvement.
Yeah, of course.
Because fuck that, they should hold no power over a
That's
human's
what I'm
life.
saying. But them making it illegal is them putting it in their power.
Well, yeah, but
It
it is illegal.
Well, I mean, technically, if you did it, it's not like they could stop you or anything.
Right, but attempted suicide is illegal because it's taking away money from the government,
Yeah.
which
Well,
is odd.
I agree. I kind of said that and didn't
Oh my
put any
God.
preface to it. I'm saying, like, if you were like, if I was a vegetable and I can't wipe my own ass, and I'm like, just please put me out of my misery, I should be able to pull the plug.
Yeah.
So
on myself.
extreme situations, not like what they're doing in Canada. You're depressed. Have you considered killing yourself?
Yeah, we need to lower the numbers here.
Oh, you're 20 and want to die for no reason? Let's do it.
Yeah, that's a little fucked up.
Well, even
crazy.
kids.
That's just like putting the thoughts in their head, like, yeah, maybe
Mm-hmm.
you should die.
So just
They've been doing it for a while, I think, too.
Is that true, though?
Yeah.
For the listeners, this is a U.S. debt clock. Our total population is 334,391,000 ish, and our total workforce is 160 million.
So
Like
that's
half.
documented, though.
That's documented. Yeah. That's documented citizens, documented workforce, or excuse me, documented population, not citizens. Our dollar to silver ratio now $0 per ounce. Dollar to oil ratio $0 per ounce. Dollar to gold ratio $0 per ounce. Here's what they were in 1913. A dollar to oil ratio in 1913.
But what does that mean?
So, like, how many dollars would purchase X item?
Oh, okay.
Or like, how many dollars would it take? You know,
Right.
that just means the value is just garbage, or less than one, right? So, dollar to oil ratio, it was $2.21 per barrel in 1913. For silver, it was $2.66 per ounce of silver. Think about that. What's a barrel of oil cost now? Like over $100, right?
Yeah,
And
I believe.
what does an ounce of silver cost? Like just over
I
30.
think 27, right?
27-ish, but that's spot. Okay. So you might be like 30 to 35-ish for like a troy ounce.
Okay.
So silver is a third of the value compared to oil, is what it was in 1913. And get this, dollar to gold ratio in 1913, it was 28.42 per ounce of gold in 1913. So silver was about a tenth of the price of gold. Now it's like the ratio's disgusting. So
1 second.
An ounce is 18 right now of gold, by the way.
an ounce is what?
A silver?
1800.
What?
An ounce of gold is 1800.
Yeah.
So check this. We'll say 1800 divided by, we'll say 27 for now.
Dude, silver is $20.
An ounce?
Yeah.
That's spot. So
1 troy ounce, 19.99 US dollars.
the fuck, bro? I'm about to buy me some more silver. That's pretty good.
That is way good.
That's pretty low prices. I mean,
That's so cheap.
the lowest I saw it go during COVID was just under $12.
Right, that was spot, but they still sold it for like $25.
Yeah. So now the ratio of silver to gold is like a 1 to 90. So 90 pieces of silver will buy an ounce of gold, and it used to be 1 to 10.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
crazy.
Why is it so drastic, though? Why is gold so much more valuable than silver now?
Gold just kept its value. I don't know why. That's
Is it
just
fake?
Probably-
just the facts.
Probably because it's what it all started on. Like, that's the currency that everybody knows
Yeah.
to fall back on.
reliable.
Yeah,
gold.
forever.
The original plan was silver was 1/16 that of gold. That was like the original ratio.
And now it's
That's
1/90th.
1/90th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's so
crazy.
fucked. Yeah, but we're going to war anyways. Well, we already are in it, but. So, hey, maybe we'll go back on that.
Nah.
I doubt it.
It's possible. China's buying a fuckload of it, and Russia right now.
I've heard that.
Like, absolutely stocking up.
Yeah, 'cause they're smart.
Yeah.
Gold's the bottom currency of the world.
I know, but they're doing it because we're going to war.
Is it that dumb balloon that kind of set us all
The third one.
No.
all in stone?
No, that shit. This started months and months, probably like a year ago, I'd say. But the balloon, that is stupid. And all these UFOs or whatever, I think that's so fucking stupid.
That
It's
is
literally
stupid.
because they changed the radars from just detecting ICBMs, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And like nukes shooting off to basically everything. And then
Oh,
so
okay.
they're gonna do an overkill and like, oh well, we didn't shoot the balloon, so now we're on the hot seat, so let's shoot down fucking everything. That's what they're doing. It's not even real. None of the objects are.
I
Like-
tell you, there could be a lot of unidentified flying objects. There's airplanes that don't have to report where they are.
That's what I'm saying. And there's a bunch of private entities that might fucking do a weather balloon or whatever.
Yeah.
And all these no propulsion systems that they've been shooting down, but they're moving like a balloon very, very slowly. It's like, fucking idiots. And then today they finally came out and said, well, we're rolling out aliens. Like, what? Congrats.
You're rolling out?
Yeah, like it's not aliens.
Oh, ruling out.
Oh,
Yeah.
ruling out.
Yeah,
aliens.
yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say,
They're rolling out aliens? I was like, oh, so that's new.
No.
release the gray people.
I wish.
Yeah, it's wild. But hey, there's good news. Allegedly the Fed is supposed to only raise interest rates by potentially by another 25 basis points, which I think is like 0.25%, something like that. Allegedly they're supposed to only do one more raise, and then they're gonna wait and see if they need to raise it again or lower it.
Yeah.
Just simply don't believe that.
Yeah, did
Well,
they
I
think
don't
that
either.
that's going to cause the soft landing?
No. But according to their new way to gauge inflation, our inflation's been down. We're at like high threes now.
It's because they don't count food or like any of the big major stuff.
Yeah.
Anything that you have to buy.
Yeah, so they're doing really good.
Shocking.
Wait, so what do they count?
I don't know what all they count. Let's see.
But I didn't know Joe Biden said they were down like 5%, but from like a record like 10%, so it's still bad. Worse than it's been for a while.
Yeah, we peaked at a high 9%
Right.
inflation.
And then he dropped down and he was like, we dropped it down, but it's still higher than it's been in for fucking ever.
Yeah.
So,
Well, according to them, not real life inflation.
Yeah, no. And silver and gold haven't caught up. They haven't kept up, which is so interesting.
Like they haven't gone up in value with inflation.
Right. As the dollar loses value, silver and gold should be increasing in value.
Yeah.
So we should be seeing silver, upwards of $50 like it was in 2008, and gold upwards of 25, $3,000. If it kept up with inflation, that's about a doubling of what they were, right?
That is strange.
Because everything else has doubled.
Yeah.
Silver and gold hasn't.
Buy them
They've gone
eggs.
down. Yeah. So, very interesting.
I'm not finding it. There's like so much to look at.
Yeah. Well, what we do know is they changed the rules of how they
Yeah.
gauge inflation.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, magically, inflation was down by a lot.
Dad knows what they measure and what they don't measure, but I don't recall what he told me.
Yeah. So it goes crazy.
Yeah.
But we talk a little bit about the Articles of Confederation now.
Yeah.
That's what our plan was.
The original Constitution.
Yeah. So Articles of Confederation were essentially the original Constitution before the Constitution. At the core, I believe it had one branch of government, and there was most of the power was held by the states because nobody wanted to give up their power. Like once they got it, nobody trusted a centralized government anymore. And so the Articles were the answer to that.
This is back when it was just 13.
13 colonies.
Yeah.
Or 13
Well, they're
states,
calling it
whatever.
states, yeah.
So the Constitution, when was that written? Because this is saying this was written in 1777.
Yeah, it was ratified in 1787, I believe. The Constitution.
89.
89? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
So maybe it was written in 87.
Well, it
The
says,
Constitution, 89?
yeah, it was enforced from March 1st, 1781 until 1789 when the present-day Constitution went into effect.
So that's not that long. That's like
No, because it didn't
8
work.
years.
Yeah, it didn't work. Because the government couldn't do anything. They couldn't lean taxes. They couldn't do anything
diddly squat.
internally. Yeah,
Right.
They could deal with foreign affairs. That was it.
Which they couldn't enforce either because they made treaties, but the states just didn't give a shit because,
States had all the power. Like,
yeah.
oh, you think you're enforcing stuff and telling me what to do? Nah. So
So
it's kind of like what's happening now.
Kind of tribal
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Each state was their own tribe. These are going to be the times before the Constitution, before the Federal Reserve and everything, when you had individual currencies from each state coming out, kind of like what we're having now with the cryptos. Everyone just had their own shit going down, and then they finally were able to create a strong centralized government with the Constitution,
Gotcha.
with the three branches of government and all their checks and balances that they allegedly had, and now it's gone to shit. So
So this is kind of like the rough draft of the Constitution.
yeah.
Right.
Essentially.
Tried it out and it didn't work. Yeah, they had to fix it.
Yeah, so you had the Articles of Confederation, and then you had the Federalist Papers, which were three of the founding fathers, you had Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, and James Madison, wrote, I think it was 50-something articles. Like, they were pounding these articles out in favor of a strong central government, a constitution, like trying to get the idea that the states aren't necessarily the only answer. Because with the Constitution, you've got federal power and state power, right? And they work in conjunction with each other and provide kind of a meshing. So yeah, those three guys were pounding out articles like crazy while trying to build the country and the Constitution and support all that, and just trying to sway the average voter, we'll say.
I think the new Constitution is brilliant. If it wasn't so just like mutilated over the years,
Yeah, exactly.
it worked perfectly.
Right? It was
Or for the
great
most
law of
part.
land, and when they originally wrote it, they planned on it being for a country of about 300 million people. The original Constitution.
Really?
Like, that was their goal, was a country of 300 million people. I don't remember where I read that, but I've heard it.
Yeah.
I've heard it multiple times. So,
Well, we're above it, so that's why it's going to hell.
damn it. We've outgrown this thing. So, I don't exactly have the exact Articles of Confederation.
They don't really. It's like 13 pages long, but that's all I
That's
could
not
really
bad.
find. No.
Well, let's read some of it.
Do you want to start with the articles, or do you want to start with the to all whom these presents shall come?
What's that?
Says the transcript right here.
For the Articles of Confederation?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can also read this paragraph out of this book about the Articles of Confederation. It says, what were the Articles of Confederation?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So this is a book. It's called Don't Know Much About History by Kenneth C. Davis. It's been one of the most intriguing and, like, honest history books I've read. Pretty dang good. So, it says, what were the Articles of Confederation? Congress had invented a wonderful new machine with a flag and an army, but they didn't quite know how to work it. Ben Franklin, who knew a thing or two about inventing, had been tinkering with the idea of a colonial confederation as far back as 1754, but his attempts to create one had been in vain. Local colonial power brokers wanted to see that power stayed that way, local, and in their hands, not in the hands of the rabble. But now, with independence declared, British warships floating off the coast, and the threat of the hangman's noose if they failed, a little machinery of government seemed a sensible idea. In August, the Congress began to debate what would become the Articles of Confederation, the first loosely organized federal government. Disagreement hinged on questions of representation and voting. Should votes be apportioned on population, or should each state receive a single vote in Congress? Obviously, big states wanted population to determine votes. Small states wanted one vote per state. The war diverted their attention to other matters, such as saving their own necks. It was 1777 before the Articles were submitted to the states for ratification, and 1781 before they were ratified. And you guys remember the year of the Declaration of Independence?
1776.
1789.
Nice. 1776. Yeah.
I'm thinking of the other thing.
81 is when they ratified the Articles of Confederation.
He was thinking about the Constitution.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As foundations for national governments go, this was a rather shaky one. Under the Articles, the presidency was a powerless office, and Congress lacked the power to tax. Owing to uncertainties about what kind of power the government should have, the Articles provided almost none. But Congress was able to sputter through the war until it could build itself a better mousetrap. So, that's kind of a introduction on the Articles of Confederation. But we can go ahead and read some of the actual transcript.
Okay. I think to the very beginning is just basically saying to all the places it's like relative to.
To whom it may concern.
Yeah, basically. But I'll start with Article 1. It just says, the style of this confederacy shall be the United States of America. And style isn't spelled like with the Y, it's with an I. Not sure what the actual translation of that means, but I'm guessing it's saying like the title of our like country shall be the United States of America.
So, style, the definition of style,
Mm-hmm.
is a noun, and it's an arrangement of steps that allows people, but not animals, to climb over a fence or wall.
Okay.
So I imagine it had a different meaning back then.
Yeah.
A style, is that why they call it like a pigsty?
maybe.
Style.
Huh.
I
That's
don't know
like-
that, but
I don't know.
Find style in the 1700s. Go ahead.
All right.
You can continue.
Article 2. Each state remains its sovereignty, freedom and independence, and every power, judiciary and right, which is not by the Confederation expressly delegated to the United States, in Congress assembled.
Okay, so basically the states just keep their freedom.
Yeah, states keep their freedom.
Wait, what was style?
Same thing. So it's saying the style of this confederacy will be the United States. Basically, the stepping stones, the name,
To a better life and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. All right,
Pathway to a better life.
Article 3. The said states hereby severely enter into a firm league of friendship with each other for their common defenses, the security of their liberties, and their mutual and general warfare, binding themselves to assist each other against all forces offered to or attacks made upon them, or any of them, on account of religion, sovereignty, trade, or any other pretense, whatever. So basically, I think that's saying, like,
We're all buddies.
Yeah,
Anyone
we're all
attacks you, yeah.
okay.
I got your back, bruv.
We're all separate, but if anybody fucks with me, we all got each other.
We all go to war.
Yeah. All right. Article 4. It's better to secure and
perpetuity? Is that the word?
Yeah. And perpetuity, mutual friendship, and and intercourse amongst the people of the defense states in this union, the free inhabitants of each of these states, paupers, vagabonds, and fugitives from justice excepted, shall be entitled to all privileges and immunities of free citizens in the several states.
That's crazy.
All right. So, explain. And that's
Oh,
just the start. This one's a little long.
Paupers, vagabonds, and all such non-citizens essentially will be, well, I don't know if it said non-citizens, but it says paupers, vagabonds, everyone will be afforded the same rights as a citizen under these United States, basically.
Okay, so it's saying, like, immigrants.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Paupers? I don't know what that means.
But they did the immigration stuff a lot smarter back then, right?
Right. It's probably a lot different.
Yeah. You actually had to go through immigration.
All right. And the people of each state shall have free ingress and regress to and from any other state, and shall enjoy therein all the privileges of the trade and commerce, subject to the same duties, impositions, and restrictions as the inhabitants thereof, respectively. Provided that such restrictions shall not extend so far as to prevent the removal of property imported into any state to any other state of which the owner is an inhabitant. Provided also that no imposition, duties, or restrictions shall be laid by any state on the property of the United States or either of them.
Essentially, free trade is allowed between the states.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can travel.
Yeah. Travel unhindered between these United States.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Now, for the listeners, I want you to think about our current Constitution and the echoes that this has in the Constitution.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't even know what's in the Constitution.
Well, we went through it one time.
We did, yeah.
Just look at how our country is run. Like how it is actually random from how it's supposed to be. Back in the day.
Anyway, that was
that-
not over yet.
Was that Article 1?
No.
3?
Oh, okay, Article 3.
No, that was Article 4.
Oh. Okay.
And it's not done yet. If any person guilty of or charged with treason, felony, or other high misdemeanor in any state shall flee from justice and be found in any of the United States, he shall, upon demand of the governor or executive power of the state from which he fled, be delivered up and removed to the state having I can't even say that word,
That's fine.
of his offenses.
So that's saying that's actually very similar echoes to what it is now. You are to be judged by a jury of your peers in the area or state where you committed the offense.
So basically,
essentially.
if you get caught in another state, they'll transport you back to the same state you committed the crime in.
Yeah, to have your trial there.
Extradited, I
Now, it
believe.
didn't say trial, did it?
Let's see.
Didn't say anything about a fair trial by jury yet.
Speaking of trial, I have jury duty next month.
Oh, fun.
Mm-hmm.
What's the crime?
I don't know. I haven't
You
been
won't
called
know?
yet. They just know I'm on call next month for jury duty.
Yeah, I had that too, and I never got called.
I hope. Well, they've called my dad before, and they asked him, "Do you want to do it?" He said no, and I said, "Okay, you're dismissed."
Oh, all right.
All right, one more
give 'em a
sentence
strong
for
no.
the fourth
All right.
article, and then we can finish that one and
Yeah.
talk about it. Full faith and credit shall be given in each of these states to the records, acts, and judicial proceedings of the courts and magistrates of every other state.
So does that mean like you respect the rulings of other states potentially?
Read that last sentence one more time.
Full faith and credit shall be given in each of these states to the records, acts, and judicial proceedings of the courts and magistrates of every other state.
Yep. So each state will respect its own trials, laws, all that, essentially. So if someone's extradited and they get charged for a crime that wasn't necessarily a crime in another state, but the state they committed in and it was a crime, then the other state has to abide by that, essentially.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's see. I want to see how many articles there actually are. This is long.
Well, while you're doing that, this says, I was just wondering how much, because have you ever seen the meme that talks about how much the founding fathers drank after they signed the
yeah.
Declaration?
Yeah.
So this says it was 50, so this is what, how many people signed it? Like 20 some odd?
Let's double check that.
Either way, they drank 54 bottles of Madeira, which I think is wine, 60 bottles of claret, 22 bottles of porter, 12 bottles of beer, which I'm guessing were bigger back then,
Yeah.
8 bottles of hard cider, 8 bottles of whiskey, and 7 large bowls of spiked punch, and large enough that one observer put it, ducks could swim in them.
Holy fuck. There was 39 delegates
After
that
they wrote
signed the
this?
Constitution.
Yeah, this was the party they had after they signed the Constitution.
Now, it doesn't mean there was only 39 people that drank that.
Yeah.
But
But I think
that was the bill of the party.
And not degrading how much like alcohol that is. Alcohol back then is not as strong as it is now. It's not even close.
right, but
Right.
also it says George Washington, I think adjusting for inflation, ran up a $17,000 tab.
Oh my god.
Just sat in a room and got fucking hammered and wrote.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's so cool.
I would too. Passing the Constitution and it was ratified and everything. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go. We just created a country.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Playing beer pong.
Yeah.
Wow.
It says they drank 3 times as much as the average American today. Just the average American back then.
Just in one party.
Well, just no, like the average person just drank 3 times as much as the average American today.
Oh yeah.
They're all alcoholics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, back then you don't like. It makes more sense.
And in England, they're all alcoholics. Now they just don't consider it a problem, and so they're not called
Right.
alcoholics.
Really?
Dude, I know people who went and traveled to England, and they would have 2 pints of beer at lunch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Europe drinks a lot more than we do.
I
Oh.
have 2 pints of beer at lunch.
There you go.
Just one. But I saw this thing going back to the alcoholism thing. It was like, we don't call them alcoholics anymore. It's a spectrum. What? If you're addicted to alcohol, you're an alcoholic. Shut up.
Wait. Can you go cold turkey? No. All right. You're an alcoholic. Yeah. Can you give it up whenever you want? No. You're addicted to it. You're an alcoholic.
I just like what Jordan Peterson said. If you regret what you did the night before, you have a problem.
Yeah.
Like if it's a consistent thing, not like, you go out and you black out one night on somebody's bachelor party.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying if this is like a consistent things and you keep regretting what you're doing the night before, you need to fix something.
I have a problem with food and sugar.
Oh yeah.
Every day I'm like, man, I shouldn't have ate all that shit yesterday. Let's do it again.
Let's do it.
Yeah, but
again.
probably 3/4 of the population could say that they have a problem because work, for example. Oh, I regret going to work yesterday because it's not what I love.
Well, he's saying just
Every
alcohol.
fucking day.
He's not relating that to everything. He just said just alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jeez. Just looking at this
Oh,
thing
that's a good
about
thought.
alcohol is, well, it was safer than water back then. But James Madison was known to consume a pint of whiskey a day.
My God, how strong was the whiskey though?
I don't know. But that was what the average citizen drank. But it said,
Holy
just
shit.
what I was looking at though was that it says George Washington's expenses for alcohol in 1775 were 1,000% higher than the average upkeep for the habit. He spent a full 7% of his income while in office on booze. That's a lot.
Everyone's gonna support you if they're all drunk. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Open bar? Fuck yeah.
At the White House, bro? That'd
Holy
be
cow.
Crazy. That's insane. I mean, the reason it makes sense, though, is because think of, like, how many diseases and, like, body aches and medical problems they had back then.
Yeah.
You'd definitely want to fade out and get some pain relief.
But
all the fucking time.
why did they have all these problems? Was it partially because of the alcohol?
Well, possibly. But, I mean, like, with, like, dental work, just that.
Yeah.
Like, most of his teeth were wood.
Yeah.
Said he had to regularly change his teeth because they'd get stained by booze.
That's disgusting.
That's rough.
But yeah, safer than water, so it probably just wasn't strong.
Alcohol kills the germs.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, who's Charlie Chaplin?
He's a famous actor.
No, maybe not Charlie Chaplin.
The British guy.
I'm thinking the guy who's like a war.
Yeah, the guy that was the prime minister of Britain during World War II. Is that what
Yeah.
you're thinking of?
Maybe
Why?
he just drank a lot too. He would like start his day with like a shot of scotch and then have like a ridiculous amount of cigars. Like smoke like 5 or 6 cigars a day, full. I'll have to look up the actual numbers, but
My goodness.
somebody just did a YouTube video about like trying to do one of his days because he would do this every single day, and they got sick as shit.
I bet it's, yeah, like you said, just not as strong.
Yeah.
But also, that's where they come with proof, because it had to light on fire still. So the idea of proof comes, like it's 187 proof, is because the British Army they wanted to water down their whiskey for their sailors so that they weren't drunk all the time at sea.
Mm-hmm.
But when they watered it down, the sailors were like, what the fuck? So they had to give proof that it would light on fire that had alcohol in it by lighting it on fire. So that's where it comes from.
That's so
I did
cool.
not know that. That's
Yeah,
really
so
cool.
they pour it on gunpowder and make the gunpowder light with it. So that's how they get proof. It was proof that had a lot of alcohol stuff.
Can you
Bro, I'm
imagine
getting
being?
shipped.
Yeah, can you imagine you've already got sea legs and then you're drunk as a skunk on top of that? You're just sloshing
That'd be so
everywhere.
fun to do
No,
on a
it-
cruise.
It would fix it because the waves go this way, you go this
Oh
way.
yeah, perfect. You're
That's
already
up.
swaying. It's perfect.
For you
Fuck
listeners,
that.
I'm saying they like calculate their sway to the ocean by being drunk.
Yeah.
It levels them out.
Just like Jack
balances.
Sparrow.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's actually cool. They, from what I hear, they didn't plan on him like swaying because of the booze. They plan on him swaying because it's his sea legs. So he's always swaying back and forth, even on land, because he's used to being in the ocean.
Oh,
Yeah, it wasn't because he's always a drunkard, although he was that too.
yeah. he is
Jack Sparrow, like the character. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like why he does the weird ass walk, is because he's walking on a ship all the time.
Well, wouldn't that be everybody in the whole movie then?
You'd think so,
Yeah.
but no, he's captain.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
He's got to sway with his jar of dirt.
I've got a jar of dirt. Have you seen that meme where he's like, yeah, he had a jar of cocaine. And got it. It's the best thing ever.
Is this shit in my bed? What's the next article?
Article 5.
How many were there, by the way?
There's 13.
Oh, that's perfect. That's great.
Okay. I might have to pass this off to you guys.
Yeah. I'll pull them out so I can help read them.
Okay, it is archives.gov
Perfect.
that they're on.
Articles.
All right. For the more convenient management of the general interests of the United States, delegates shall be annually appointed in such a manner as the legislature of each state shall direct.
Annually? So they re-elected him every year.
Legislators?
Yeah.
Look,
Delegates shall be annually appointed.
No one wanted to be part of it, though.
Yeah.
I know they were saying half of the delegates just didn't show up to their Congress things that they did.
So they didn't want to be a part of it at all?
Yeah, because it didn't mean anything. They had no power.
Oh, so it was just kind of like talking about random
Right.
shit.
Yeah, and they tried to get shit done, obviously, but then when it came down to it, the states were like, yeah, well, we don't give a fuck. So
Yeah.
it didn't mean anything to be part of the...
It's like those town hall meetings that everybody just goes and like nothing needs to be done. Kind of like that.
Yeah.
Dude, that's how it should be. The states should have all of the power except for foreign. I
But
believe
it
that.
crippled the federal government. How would you collect taxes besides state by
Exactly.
state?
Stay the fuck away from my town. Like,
Well,
what I
they
work
How do you
for.
get roads and all that shit?
Well, and the issue
Well,
was they
they
were going
print
to war.
infinite money so they could do it, huh?
The issue was they were going to war, and the federal government was like, we need money to fund the army to defend everyone, in the states treated that as optional.
Yeah.
So they didn't pay their debts, and it fucked the government, because then they had starving soldiers that wanted to do rebellions and shit because they were starving, couldn't buy food, and they didn't get paid.
I don't mind the tax. It's all the confusing tax and how much we're being taxed. I liked what we talked about that one time where it was a good idea. I don't know how it would work 100%, but like there's a base tax. Everybody gets this percent. You all just pay that tax. It doesn't matter how rich, poor you are.
Sales tax.
You just get taxed a certain amount across the board.
I would be
But that would fuck over a
entirely
lot of
fine
people.
with just a sales tax. Then nobody could skip the tax because everyone needs to buy shit.
Yeah.
Even
no
illegal
income
immigrants,
tax.
everybody has to buy shit in America. So it wouldn't matter. You wouldn't be paying for people's shit.
Yep.
Everybody has to buy stuff.
Or what would be cool, which I heard this the other day, is, and I'm adding on a little bit, but every bracket, whether you're low, medium, or high income, you have to pay like an allotted amount of taxes, and I get to choose where I put my fucking taxes. Like towards the military, okay, great. Towards roads, great. Schools, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Then I know where it's headed, because if not, I'm paying for fucking transgender care over in Africa.
Yeah, well, you
bullshit.
need a base amount of taxes for your basic stuff, like roads, military, things like that, and then beyond that, allocate.
Right.
You know, so you got 30% of your taxes are going towards like the basic spending budget of the government, and then the rest of it you get to allocate. Like, oh, taxes to the FBI? No, I'm good. And then the FBI suddenly becomes no more.
Exactly. That would be so fucking good and
Right.
valuable.
Why do we not want the FBI?
They're corrupt.
terrible.
Well, there's just a bunch. That's just one example. There's a bunch of shit.
ATF.
Of different agencies that are corrupt and it's like bloated by bureaucracy.
Yeah.
And just like, yeah. We need people who really don't want to be in government to be in government, and we need them to be business owners so they can run the government like a business for profit.
Yeah. I think Lex Fridman should be forced. You're right.
Dude, Lex, Elon Musk, like, are great business owners.
Yeah.
Should be put towards the government. None of them wants to do it and run it as a for-profit business.
Do you think Elon Musk would be a good running the country?
Hell yeah.
I think
Not to
not
be the
running-
head honcho, but like head of fucking electronic building or something.
of something, right? I like
Yeah,
at
but
least
something.
part of it.
Then that's nationalized product. That'd
Right,
be
but
rough.
if it's a bunch of
An advisor.
just business owners that don't want to be there, that could work out so good.
I'm talking like they charge fees for services. Right?
Explain it.
Instead of doing everything quote unquote for free, they have oh, okay, this is our defense budget. Every person needs to allocate this percentage for defense and offense, and this is the way we're going to spend this money. People can buy stocks in that company or take stocks away or sell their stocks, right?
That'd be cool.
And so they'll profit or loss based on the investors, essentially. And people who don't want to do it, yeah, they have taxes. You got your basic taxes you have to pay for it. But, like, the original taxes the British were trying to put on these people, the reason we had a revolution was like 3%.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck no. And after all taxes are involved, you're anywhere between 50 and 60%.
Yeah.
So
That's a hard pill to swallow. It really is.
because you think about it, you have your tax brackets. Those go up to about 35%.
Yeah.
Okay. And then beyond that, your employer also pays that much in taxes if you're a W-2. You pay sales tax.
Property
You pay
tax.
Property tax. You pay tax on any transaction. Like even if you're selling privately to someone for a car, one of you has to pay the tax when you go to register it for the sale.
Yeah.
You know?
And then taxes on your insurance, electric, gas,
Yeah, everything.
fucking garbage.
Everything has taxes. Yeah.
It's so crazy.
It is. So yeah, you're upwards of 50 to 60% of your total income after all your taxes.
But the
It's
rich don't
disgusting.
pay taxes. That's so crazy.
They don't pay taxes because they know people who know the tax code,
Yeah, but they do pay taxes either way.
right? Potentially, depending on what they do.
Well, like employment taxes, they gotta buy shit.
Well, they
so they pay
can
taxes.
also defer
Right.
taxes.
That's what I'm saying.
There's
So no
different
matter
groupings.
what, somebody connected to that business is paying the taxes.
Well, they'll eventually pay. Yeah, when they sell.
Yeah.
like Elon Musk when he cashed out a bunch of his stock to buy Twitter, like he had to pay a shit ton of tax, billions.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you're in real estate, you can do different things to defer taxes and like get tax credits and stuff back to you, and write off things. You can do something called a 1031 exchange, where you exchange a like property for a like property. So investment property for investment property. There's a time window, like 90 days, I think, where you got to sell one, find the other, and work on buying it within this 90-day period. And you won't be taxed on the capital gains from the original sale because those will roll right into the next property. Oh, yeah. Those of you interested in real estate, look into 1031 exchanges. Fucking broken. And there's different things where the rich don't have to pay taxes because guess what? They have all these assets. You know what you can do with assets? Borrow against them. Is debt taxed? No.
Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, there's no tax on debt. So you have this, say, $20 billion asset, $20 million asset. We'll make it more realistic. $20 million asset, borrow against that, $15 million. Go spend that $15 million on another asset and acquire it. Both of those assets grow in value over your lifetime, and you can hand those down to the next generation. If you keep those assets, never sell them, you can hand them down to the next generation through your trust or will or however you want to structure your estate. And the next generation doesn't have to pay tax because they get what's called a stepped up cost basis, I think. So say you spend $20 million on an asset, it goes up to $40 million by the time you die. If you were to sell it, you'd have to pay taxes on $20 million because that was your gains, right? Mm. If you die and pass it down to your kids, their new cost basis is $40 million for that property. So if they went and sold it right after you died, they don't have to pay taxes.
Yeah, but wouldn't you have to pay property tax still? Or are you saying you bought it outright?
Well, you would. Even if you own a house outright, you pay property tax every year.
Mm-hmm.
You never own it.
$300 a month. It's a lot.
You never own it. Because even if you own a property outright, if ever you don't pay your property tax, you can get that property taken away from you. You cannot own property or land.
You're such fuckers, bro.
Yeah.
That's cool, though. I did not know that.
Yeah, and it's a lot. Like it's between like I think it was like $12 million. You can pass down $12 million in estate per spouse.
That's it?
So you can potentially pass down $24 million tax-free to your kids.
Right.
The rest of it could be taxed.
Okay.
Or played smarter.
Yeah.
Which we can talk about later.
Mm-hmm. So we don't get suicided.
No, it's not suicide. It's tax code. It's like these are things you can do, and it's how the rich stay rich and don't have to pay many taxes because they keep their assets, or they do these special exchanges or whatever, and then they pass it down to their kids at a stepped-up cost basis.
Right.
It's
How do I find the tax code? Let's read that.
Good luck. There's degrees for that.
Good hell.
Yeah, you can go to college, get your CPA license.
What,
Actually, CPA license doesn't take long to get, I believe. But
I'm
to be
not
a good
interested.
CPA,
I don't
yeah,
want to do that. Fuck that.
I wouldn't mind it. I think it'd be so cool to know the tax code.
It'd be cool to know it, but like I don't want to make
You're-
that my career
Yeah, you're thousands and thousands of pages though.
for a tax code. It shouldn't
Have
be
fun.
that complicated.
It is because there's so many different things that are taxed, right?
Yeah.
So there's like 5% of things that make you pay tax, and then the majority of it is how to avoid paying those taxes, according to Tom Wheelwright.
You say 60% of it?
No, it's like 5%.
Oh, 5% of it is how to avoid pay taxing.
No, 5% or less is you have to pay tax on this stuff.
And the rest,
The
of
rest
it's
of it
all
is how to avoid
it.
paying taxes
Wow.
legally. So get yourself a damn good CPA, and you'll be fine. But like the Rich Dad Investors, Tom Wheelwright, their company, I think their beginning fee is like $10,000 a year.
Wow.
That's the starting fee
Wait, to like hire one of their...
to hire one of their people.
I mean, if you were making so much money and you needed somebody for that, though.
Yeah. So
Worth
if you're bringing in, think of it, if you're bringing in more than 100,000 in capital gains per year, it'd be worth it to hire one of them, because then they're saving you potentially $60,000 and you're paying 10 of it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like sweet.
That doesn't seem like a whole lot for them, like earning.
That's the
though.
starting fee. I'm sure they take a percentage of what they save you as well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
They know exactly how
Oh
much they
yeah.
save you.
Oh yeah. Well, they do.
I mean, if I was a CPA, I would too. I'd be like, yeah, I'm tracking everything.
Yeah. If you're a CPA, you know your shit, and you can get in and like keep good records. You know how to handle an audit, everything, because they'll handle audits. Like their customers don't see the audit person. Like if the audit person comes to them, they're like, refer to my CPAs, and they handle it, and they keep damn good books and everything. So
Yeah.
it's just expensive.
Yeah.
Unless you're bringing in over 100,000 in capital gains, you know, or anywhere close to that, it wouldn't make sense.
I wonder how taxes work in like Dubai or Saudi Arabia. You think it's similar?
They don't have corporate tax, so if you own a business over there, you don't pay tax.
That's
As far as I know,
That's gotta be sweet.
I don't know how personal taxes work, or if they do have personal taxes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have to look it up.
Different country, but careful with funding stuff out of state and out of country. They'll drill you so hard for that.
Why?
The U.S. will, because it's how they view it as stealing their tax revenue. Yeah.
So
The money we were gonna steal from you, you stolen it back, and now we need to charge you more.
No,
You're not even stolen it back. You didn't let us steal it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you gotta be careful with like offshore accounts, all that jazz.
yeah, what the hell is an offshore vault? Because is it like a literal vault?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have one of those.
Yeah, they have private vaults where you can go store your gold and silver and all sorts of shit.
You ever
I
seen
always
Wolf of Wall
wondered-
That
Street?
way,
Huh.
It's a good movie.
I haven't seen
I'd
Wolf
watch
of Wall
that.
Street either.
Watch it. It's good.
But like Robert Kiyosaki talks about his private vault.
Yeah. I always just wondered, is that like just a bank account or like a vault?
No, it's a vault with his gold and silver,
That
dude.
makes me so crazy.
Where there's hired guards. It's a
Yeah.
private company who actually protects assets, and good luck to anyone trying to get in it, essentially.
Where did they fucking put that shit?
Offshore.
So they've got, I know they have a lot of that going on in like Switzerland, because they had like, that's like a country known for private vaults and
Yeah.
banking and all that. But I'm sure you can find them. I'll bet you can find them here.
Yeah.
Your like your bank has the not drop boxes. What are they called? Vault boxes, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's something similar. But a bank is government owned. If they decide to close one day, you're fucked, right?
Right.
So you're not getting any assets out. But if you go to a private vault, that's literally a private company. You pay a monthly, yearly fee to, and their only job is to protect your assets.
That's so cool.
So you can take it out whenever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go to a private vault. Yeah. So pretty cool.
That's fucking cool.
It's pretty sweet, I guess.
It's a good way to diversify your assets, right? Because
Yeah.
you think about it, you have all your assets in the States. You know how quickly those could all be frozen?
Very.
Yeah. But say you have some assets out of the country, Like, you're not paying tax on it, or you already paid the tax you need to purchase the items, send them overseas. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to get out of a quick jam and just move or fly over to Switzerland or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck flying to Switzerland if everything's frozen, though.
Yeah, true.
But at least you'll have it
Yeah.
when you get out. Yeah, it's crazy. Did you want to continue reading 5, and then I'll take 6?
Yeah. All right, I'm just gonna start over though, because
All right.
I didn't even get through the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
All right. For the more convenient management of the general interests of the United States, delegates shall be annually appointed in such manner as the legislature later of each state shall direct, to meet in Congress on the first Monday in November in every year, with a power reserved to each state to recall its delegates, or any of them, at any time within the year, and to send others in their stead for the remainder of the year.
So they can just change out their delegates.
When does Congress convene normally now?
It's in November, ain't it? I think it's the same.
Aha.
I don't know.
Monday.
Echoes, baby, echoes.
No state shall be represented in Congress by less than 2, nor by more than 7 members, and no person shall be capable of being delegate or for more than 3 years.
Oh, we need that back.
In any
What-
term of 6 years. So after another 3 years, they could go again.
Mm.
They just have to have 3
Still,
years
you'd be
up.
able to swap them out, at least get some movement.
Yeah.
That's term limits, baby. At least sort of.
Nor shall any person being delegate be capable of holding any office under the United States for which he or another for his benefits receives any salary, fees, or emolument of any kind.
Basically, they can't receive compensation for being a delegate,
Okay.
which was a flaw in the system, right? If you're having people come and do these things, it's not free labor.
And that's probably why a lot of them didn't want to do it.
That's potentially, yeah. But under these articles, they were not allowed any salary or fees or emolument.
And that obviously got fixed, right?
Yeah, well, they make good money now, and they also get a lot of kickbacks from corporations. Lots of kickbacks.
Right. Each state shall maintain its own delegates in a meeting of the states, and while they act as members of the committee of the states. So, each state shall maintain its own delegates in a meeting of the states, while they act as members of the committee of the state. What does that mean?
Just the members don't change while they're in committee,
Oh.
essentially. That's how I'm reading it.
In determining questions in the United States in Congress assembled, each state shall have one vote. So on every matter, one state has a vote.
Yeah, so they can have delegates, says between 2 and 7, no less than 2, no more than 7, and then they decide on something for their state together, and then they bring that vote to the Congress, essentially.
Gotcha.
So yeah, 13 votes in all.
Yeah. Freedom of speech and debate in Congress shall not be impeached or questioned in any court or place out of Congress, and the members of Congress shall be protected in their persons from arrests and imprisonments during the time of their going to and from and attendance on Congress, except for treason, felony, or breach of peace. So that's saying you can basically say whatever you want.
Yep, as long as it's not going against the country. That's treason. Felony, I don't know what would constitute a felony back then. I imagine murdering somebody.
Yeah, probably.
But
something
you
pretty
see
high.
these fights all the time.
Yeah.
Or hear about them, or breach of the peace. So breach of the peace, you might get fines or whatever, but
And maybe they were all fucking drunk all the time, too.
yeah, outside of that, it's saying, like, no matter what you say, as long as you're not being treasonous, committing a felony, or a breach of the peace, then you're protected. Whatever you say and do in Congress should not be impeded. Cool. Article 6 says, no state, without the consent of the United States in Congress assembled, shall send any embassy to or receive any embassy from, or enter into any conference, agreement, alliance, or treaty with any king, prince, or state. Nor shall any person holding any office of profit or trust under the United States, or any of them, except of any present emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state, nor shall the United States in Congress assembled or any of them grant any title of nobility. So basically, they can't be granted any money, titles, any of that from a foreign entity or any other state while they're serving as a member of Congress.
Okay.
So no bribery.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
Crazy thought, huh?
Yep.
No two or more states shall enter into any treaty, confederation, or alliance whatever between them without the consent of the United States in Congress assembled, specifying accurately the purposes for which the same is to be entered into and how long it shall continue. So you can't be making deals behind each other's backs as individual states.
Without asking the whole.
Yep, without the whole agreeing. And there has to be specific terms, and everyone has to know about it.
I wonder what that relates to, like how small
That's saying like,
they've considered, you know?
yeah, that's saying like Virginia and Georgia can't enter into a monetary treaty that just benefits those two, unless everyone else agrees. Like, oh yeah, that would benefit the United States as a whole. That's a good idea,
Gotcha.
kind of thing. No state shall lay any imposts or duties which may interfere with any stipulations in treaties entered into by the United States in Congress assembled with any king, prince, or state in pursuance of any treaties already proposed by Congress to the courts of France and Spain. Why France and Spain?
Wait, yeah,
Interesting.
reread that, please.
No state shall lay any imposts or duties, so you can't be giving them extra taxes and stuff on their imports, whatever, which may interfere with any stipulations in treaties entered into by the United States in Congress assembled. So anything that interferes with treaties already established
Right.
by Congress with any king, prince, or state in pursuance of any treaties already proposed by Congress. So you can't enter into treaties with foreign nations to further your cause to get a certain treaty passed or signed in Congress
And it's saying
to the courts of France and Spain.
Is it saying because those are the two that they were currently dealing with at the time, maybe?
Likely, yeah. All right. Damn, Article 6 is long. That's okay.
Way long.
No vessels of war shall be kept up in time of peace by any state except such number only as shall be deemed necessary by the United States. Basically, we don't keep vessels of war unless the United States is like, yeah, that's required. That many is required. Okay.
Because that would basically be provocation for
Right.
other places. Yeah.
Right.
Provocation.
Yeah, it's like yeah, fuck with us.
Oh, like intimidation.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
kind of like we're poking you, but we're not really.
In Congress assembled for the defense of such state or its trade. Nor shall any body of forces be kept up by any state in time of peace, except such number only as, in the judgment of the United States in Congress assembled, shall be deemed requisite to garrison the forts necessary for the defense of such state. So you just keep your minimum, in times of peace, you keep your minimum defense. But every state shall always keep up a well-regulated and disciplined militia, sufficiently armed and accoutred. Double check the definition of that word for me, will ya?
Accoutred.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Hold up. Let me scroll down.
What is? How do you spell that?
ACCOUTRED.
Yes. And shall provide and constantly have ready for use in public stores a due number of field pieces and tents and a proper quantity of arms, ammunition, and camp equipage. We have barracks and arms depots in the United States still in each state.
So, like, for the militia, if, like, we
Yeah.
are all just, like, called in, we could, like, go arm up, basically.
Right.
I didn't know that. That's
So-
interesting.
So you'll see signs randomly. I think there's one in Brigham City that I've seen quite a few times. I don't know where the actual depot is, but there's a sign essentially saying like arms barracks or munitions depot, something like that, for the civilians.
I wonder
kind of
how intense it would have to be for them to let you in that. Because obviously you couldn't go there now and just be like, load me up.
I don't know. You might be able to go visit. I don't know.
I want to try that.
Yeah,
Field
there's
trip.
one up in Brigham. We should check it out sometime. No state shall engage in any war without the consent of the United States in Congress assembled, unless such state be actually invaded by enemies, or shall have received certain advice of a resolution being formed by some nation of Indians to invade such state. and the danger is so imminent as not to admit of a delay till the United States in Congress assembled can be consulted. So it's saying you cannot engage in any war unless someone is actually invading you or there's Indians invading you or whatever it might be. Because Indians were a real problem at this time.
Well, you can't start shit, right? That's what it's saying.
Right. You can't start shit. Exactly.
So, accoutered means clothe or equip in something noticeable or impressive.
Oh,
So
okay.
like an army garb.
Yeah, like uniforms, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
armed
glad
and
you got
accoutred.
that.
Okay, so yeah, you just can't arm.
I said I'm so glad you got that because I did not get it.
Says, nor shall any state grant commissions to any ships or vessels of war, nor letters of marque or reprisal, except it be after a declaration of war by the United States in Congress assembled, and then only against the kingdom or state and the subjects thereof, against which war has been so declared, and under such regulations as shall be established by the United States in Congress assembled, unless such state be infested by pirates, in which case vessels of war may be fitted out for that occasion, and kept so long as the danger shall continue, or until the United States in Congress assembled shall determine otherwise.
Wow.
So you can't keep vessels of war outside of your basic defense military vessels of war unless you're being invaded by pirates or another party, essentially. Cool. Anyone want to take Article 7?
Sure.
Okay.
When land forces are raised by any state for the common defense, all officers of or under the rank of colonel shall be appointed by the legislature of each state respectively, by whom such forces shall be raised, or in such manner as such state shall direct, and all vacancies shall be filled up by the state which first made appointment. So they're just going to appoint colonels and stuff?
All officers of or under the rank of colonel shall be appointed by the legislature of each state respectively, by whom such forces shall be raised. Okay, so each state appoints its own colonels and less. Cool.
Okay. All charges of war and all other expenses that shall be incurred for the common defense or general welfare are allowed by the United States in Congress assembled shall be defrayed out of a common treasury. So that's cool. Basically, they have a set amount for war, right? Well, I guess
Yeah.
for defending the U.S., which shall be supplied by the several states in proportion to the value of all land within each state, granted or surveyed for any person, as such land and the buildings and improvements thereon shall be estimated according to such mode. As the United States in Congress assembled shall from time to time direct and appoint. The taxes for paying that proportion shall be laid and levied by the authority and direction of the legislators of the several states within the time agreed upon by the U.S. in Congress assembled. Huh?
Saying any charges of war and all other expenses incurred will be taken out of each state according to their assets, essentially.
Okay.
So, more valuable state pays more.
Good hell, this next one is long.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a
Is it?
So long.
We could just get a
Oof.
simpled version. That's 8, right?
That was
is
a
9.
Okay, it says the simple version. Only the new central government had the power to declare war and make peace with foreign countries. The central government was also responsible for assigning ambassadors to represent the U.S. in other countries.
All right.
I'll take 10. The committee of states, or any 9 of them, shall be authorized to execute in the recess of Congress such as the powers of Congress as the United States. In Congress assembled by the consent of 9 states, shall from time to time think expedient to vest them with, provided that no power be delegated to the same committee, for the exercise of which by the Articles of Confederation the voice of 9 states in the Congress of the United States assembled is requisite. That made no sense to me at all.
So it's saying, essentially, if they're not in active Congress, then any 9 states joined together can do all the powers of Congress.
Okay.
So it's like the majority, basically, like what they do to this day.
Large majority, like 60.
Yeah.
75%, right?
Yeah.
I'll take 11. Canada, acceding to this confederation and joining in the measures of the United States, shall be admitted into and entitled to all the advantages of this union, but no other colony shall be admitted into the same unless such admission be agreed to by 9 states. So only, they're like, we'll take on Canada. That's it, unless everyone else agrees.
Wait, what?
Canada gets a free pass to join, basically.
Yeah,
They
it's
don't
in the
gotta join.
articles that, Canada can join the union, but outside of that, we need everyone else to approve.
Huh.
Or at least 9 states to approve.
Gotcha.
Dude, Canada for us is like North Korea for China. Just straight up, it's a buffer zone.
Buffer zone from what, though?
Each other. So,
I
like,
guess.
if we were to attack China, we'd have to go through North Korea. That's why North Korea has nukes and all this shit. But on the other hand, for China to attack the U.S., Canada is like our best friend, so they would have to go through Canada. Hence the reason that Canada is pretty built up, although they're also kind of shit. That makes sense.
Yeah, kind of.
So it's like our little lapdog.
Yeah, a little bit.
I wouldn't describe it like that, but
I would, 100%.
All right, I'll do 12. All bills of credit emitted, monies borrowed, and debts contracted by or under the authority of Congress before the assembling of the United States in pursuance of the present Confederation shall be deemed and considered as a charge against the United States for payment and satisfaction whereof the United States and the public faith are hereby solemnly pledged. So they just pay their bills, right?
It's saying that any debts and monies incurred during the creation of the United States under the Articles of Confederation will be paid for. Basically, they're pledging the people to pay for these bills that are being accrued to create the Confederation.
so taxes.
Okay.
Kind of, yeah. Saying the United States will pay for anything that it's incurred up to this point to create the United States.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. So they're paying past debts.
And this one's kind of long, but not too bad. I'll read it. Article 13. This is the last article. Every state shall abide by the determinations of the United States in Congress assembled on all questions which by this confederation are submitted to them. And the articles of this confederation shall be inviolably observed by every state, and the union shall be perpetual, nor shall any alteration at any time hereafter be made in any of them, unless such alteration be agreed to in a Congress of the United States, and be afterwards confirmed by the legislatures of every state. So you need every state to make any changes to the Articles of Confederation. Okay? That's what it's saying. And whereas it hath pleased the great governor of the world to incline the hearts of the legislatures we respectively represent in Congress to approve of and to authorize us to ratify the said Articles of Confederation and perpetual union, know ye that we, the undersigned delegates, by virtue of the power and the authority to us given for that purpose, do, by these presents, in the name and in behalf of our respective constituents, fully and entirely ratify and confirm each and every of the said Articles of Confederation and perpetual union, and all and singular the matters and things therein contained. We do further solemnly plight and engage the faith of our respective constituents that they shall abide by the determinations of the United States in Congress assembled on all questions which by the said confederation are submitted to them, and that the articles thereof shall be inviolably observed by the states we respectively represent, and that the union shall be perpetual. In witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands in Congress, done at Philadelphia in the state of Pennsylvania, the 9th day of July in the year of our Lord, 1778, and in the 3rd year of the independence of America. That's just saying we do all agree to abide by these laws.
Yeah.
Right on.
So that's pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Now, do you guys see the echoes of that versus our current Constitution? It's like, yes, you'll be tried in the state at which you committed your felony or misdemeanor, whatever it was, and under the laws thereof, they have. I really liked their foreign policy of war. It's like, no, we're gonna stick to ourselves and just keep defense unless we're offended against.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
That's way awesome.
We should have kept it like that.
And it's, we haven't declared war in a really long time. It's been executive orders and executive action that sent us into war since World War II, I think.
War just doesn't get declared by anybody anymore.
It just
Yeah,
happens.
It just happens.
Yeah.
And it's not officially declared. And so you just have infinite spending and all this shit. It's like, oh, it's not ratified. We don't call it a war. We're just
I wonder why that
engaging.
actually is, because, like, even Russia took forever to declare war on Ukraine.
treaties. So you got different treaties and stuff. As soon as someone officially declares war on someone, then it involves all the other people they're treated with.
Okay.
And
But what about Ukraine, where they're not treated with shit?
well, that's why they haven't had shit come to their aid officially declaring war on their behalf. They've had people like the United States fighting a proxy war, right? Sending shit over like, oh, we're not declaring war. We're just helping them out.
Sure.
Sending billions of dollars, all that jazz. And, yeah. And China is going to be doing the same thing with Russia. Oh, we're not declaring war. We're just giving them a hand,
Yeah. Huh.
They're
But
getting
no-
involved either way.
They're getting involved, but no war's been declared. And so the treaties aren't necessarily, like, they don't have to act upon the treaties.
Yeah, like NATO.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, okay. But going back to Canada being our little lapdog, like, for example, it was yesterday or 2 days ago, our fighter jets shot down something in their airspace because of the NORAD treaty, which is the North American Aerospace, like, defense organization or something like that.
Yeah.
But so either way, that's just like an example of it.
I guess I just look at it as like they're our friend, but we're just the stronger friend.
Yeah.
And we can kind of do what we want.
Yeah, which we do.
It's funny because I think the U.S. and the citizens therein are going to keep thinking we're the stronger friend until it's very clear we're not. With not necessarily stronger friend, but like the strongest power, Like,
Yeah.
oh, we're the strongest power in the world. We have been since World War II. And then one day it's going to be evidently clear that we've just been demolished.
Scratching our butts the whole time.
Yeah.
Do you think China is right now? Or Russia?
China's been building like a mofo. Infrastructure, everything. Like, they've got some crazy infrastructure happening.
They've just put into place the biggest military buildup since World War II, I believe.
There you
China,
go.
like, just barely.
There you go.
But yeah, I'm not convinced America is the most powerful in the aspect of military, because we don't know what we have, we don't know what China has, we don't know what Russia has, or whoever else. But the fact that it's the citizens that makes us the superpower of the world.
All right.
That's it.
That's what makes people not want to invade.
Yeah, so I would argue that we still are 100%.
Based on our population and
Based on how the citizens have guns
As
everywhere.
As far as military might goes, maybe. Well, most definitely, I would say.
Yeah.
But other than that, like fiscally, all that, I don't know that we're the superpower anymore.
We still are. China is expected to pass us up by 2030, though. I believe that's what it was.
All right.
We also don't know China's real numbers either,
No.
as they are
Yeah.
communists.
We've been
So-
giving them gold for years since we were taken off the gold standard by Nixon.
Sure.
And I've even heard mention that the gold and silver being kept down artificially because we're giving it cheaply to China and all them to make up for the deficit we have with them. Because we started at that point of taking us off the gold standard, we started moving manufacturing, factories, all that jazz offshore because it's cheaper to send things
Yeah.
overseas and then send them back than to make it here at home.
Mm.
And so we've just been creating a massive deficit of trade and labor for years and years and years. And we've been paying for that deficit in gold. Your mic's
What the
cutting.
fuck?
There you go.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
It's, yeah. It's crazy.
I want to go back to the militia thing, though, because it was saying in here that every state has a well-trained militia.
Yeah.
Like, was that a requirement back then to, like, you have to have pretty much, some form of
It's like the Minutemen, I believe.
Yeah.
like military training.
Well, it's like a group of dudes that are ready to attack or defend in a minute.
Yeah.
And
That's
we've got
probably just because of the population of the states at that point, right?
we've got something similar to that, like your National Guard, your reserve troops, all that jazz, and you've got tons of people on standby for that stuff, and they go and they get trained. Like they do trainings once a year, all that jazz. Like Saunders was one of those. He was on the reserve.
No, he
Yeah.
was the National Guard. Like actually,
National Guard. Okay,
he was
cool.
a member of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I've got a student that's National Guard, and he'll go and do trainings and all that jazz.
National Guard isn't like a job? I thought it was.
It can be.
It's basically a branch of the military
Yeah.
that's for either domestic for like riots and stuff, or foreign. Say if I don't know, like paratroopers got dropped in for some reason.
Gotcha.
But even with all that, you have your reserve troops for everything,
Yeah.
essentially. And then after the reserves are exhausted, then they start doing the draft stuff.
And National Guard is for if there's any like floods or major disasters, then they step up too.
Send them down.
That's kind of what I thought they were for originally.
That's
Yeah.
originally
Like
what they're
for
for.
natural.
But then sometimes they're called to the Capitol
Yeah.
for stupid
riots.
shit. You know?
Yeah, that's
Waste of
Right.
time and energy for everyone.
Right.
it's an abuse of power. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what you got going on. So we still have sort of a well-regulated militia, but it's not like it used to be.
Gotcha. I'm looking on this website that I found the articles on. There's a lot of cool documents on here I think we could go over in future podcasts.
Archives.gov.
Yeah. Got like the Lee Resolution. I don't know what that is. Declaration of Independence, treaties and alliance with France, Paris Treaty, original design of the Great Seal of the United States.
That'd be cool.
I don't know. Bunch of cool stuff on here.
I'd be
Bill of
down.
Rights.
All this history stuff is so cool. If you guys really, the listeners, if you really want good books, look up. It's called Washington by Ron Chernow and Alexander Hamilton by Ron Chernow. Those are long books. Like you're between what is
It's
it?
35 hours for Hamilton and 46 for Washington.
Yeah. So it's a long listen or a long read, but they are so worth it.
Yeah.
That's cool. But the founding of this country was no accident. You had some absolute geniuses, and then you had some absolute donuts with a lot of it. You know, like Hamilton helped create the first centralized banking system, and that we went through I think 3 or 4 centralized banks before we finally got the Federal Reserve, which is funny because the Federal Reserve has nothing to do with the Fed. It's actually a bunch of private banks that banded together and named themselves the Federal Reserve.
Read the creature from Jekyll Island.
Yeah. That'll tell you about the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
They did the same shit that the prisons did. Did they? Private. That's good.
Isn't that funny? Running for-profit business of prisons,
Smart as fuck.
I guess.
Is it evil? But just like Hitler was evil, but there's some smart aspects of
Oh, yeah.
a lot of the shit.
Well,
I'm not Kanye West, by the way.
that's one of the things that I don't think should be for-profit business, the prison system. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's-
keeping people in cages like animals.
Well, that's how you get stupid laws. Because then they go and they send their lobbyists to pass these stupid laws to get more people into prisons.
Of course.
Who get paid for by the government, by taxes, you know.
Yeah.
It's just a whole subsidized business.
Yeah, I agree.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
Just more corruption and abuse. It's,
Yeah.
All the roots are rotting.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, pretty cool Articles of Confederation versus our current Constitution. And if you guys want to see or want to hear about the Constitution, Bill of Rights, all that jazz, we've got episodes on all those, as well as the Declaration of Independence.
Did we do the Declaration of Independence or just the...
I think we read through it, yeah.
Did we?
I believe we did.
Yeah. I'll have to double check. But I believe we have all that on there.
Yeah.
Next, we'll have to talk about these Federalist Papers or something, but that's a long book. There's a lot of papers.
What are the Federalist Papers?
So the Federalist Papers were the papers to convince the common person to vote for the Constitution.
And they all read that shit?
Yeah, this was the stuff that was like published in newspapers and stuff.
Oh,
and they
it's
were
not all one book that they just...
No, they would release a paper like every week or month or whatever it was up until the Constitution was ratified. And I think there's 51 of them total. And it's just reasons why the country needed the Constitution and not the Articles, essentially.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, do you think there's any propaganda in those?
Oh, absolutely.
Probably.
Absolutely. They did not write under, like they wrote under the name Publius. Like it wasn't under their names because that shit in the day could potentially get you tarred and feathered, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, it's pretty cool. And that was Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, and James Madison all writing.
Oh, and they just threw it under an alias? So
Yeah,
they just...
John Jay, if I remember right, was one of the justices, right? One of the original justices.
No idea.
I'll have to double check that. But, and then Alexander Hamilton we all know, and James Madison we all know. So, pretty cool. Very, very important members of creating and making sure this country adopted the Constitution. Yeah. There's cool stuff. People smarter than me in law. A lot of them were lawyers and stuff. Like they knew English common law.
Yeah.
They would go and teach themselves foreign languages, like Greek, to learn about their democracies and all that, so they could study their publications. It's crazy. So, yeah.
How old do you think they were when they did this? Like 30s, 40s?
No, Alexander Hamilton originally went. I don't know when he wrote the Federalist Papers. I don't know how old he was, but like originally when he started getting involved, he was under 20.
Wow.
Oh yeah, he started getting involved as a founding father under 20. He was going hard on the paint.
It's so fucking
but,
crazy.
But you think about it, your lifespan back then was like 50.
Yeah.
So you better get a jump on it and better be wise by 12, you know?
Yeah.
No, I seen a thing the other day saying that the reason the lifespan was so low back then is they count all the childbirths. Or like child deaths.
Oh, yeah. Because how long did
So-
George Washington live?
Pretty old.
And so did Jefferson.
So people lived the same, but more younger people died. So
They-
that brings the average age of like how you lived way down.
That would make sense.
Yeah, George Washington was 67.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
But they lived longer
Shit,
than
that's
you
longer
thought.
than Grandpa. Yeah. Huh.
So it's
Thomas
just the
Jefferson
average.
was 83.
Yeah. So they were old.
And I believe Washington and Jefferson both died on one of the, like they died on one of the, we'll say anniversaries of the Constitution. It was either the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence. Like,
Wild.
see what date they both died.
Okay.
See if it's July 4th.
Jefferson
Or
and
it's-
Washington.
I think both of them died, yeah, on one of the anniversaries. One of the important documents. It's cool.
July 4th? Oh, wait, no. A lot of them were July 4th. Okay.
Different years, of course, but
Yeah, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, July 4th. John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Monroe, July 4th.
that's cool.
A lot of them died July 4th.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Mm-hmm. Seems like the day for the founding fathers.
They just off themselves on that day?
No, they would just hold out until that day.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, it's not the 4th.
What? One of our presidents, he had 2 wives and 15 kids. It was John Tyler.
Huh.
I don't know who the fuck that is, but
It's one of them. Somewhere in the middle years there.
And what president are we
Yeah.
on now?
46.
46, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
It's my 111th birthday.
But the founding of this country is very intriguing, and we're coming up on the general lifespan of empires, about 200 years.
yeah. Wait, did you say that James Madison was one of the Federalist Papers people?
Yeah.
He was 5'4".
They were shorter back then.
They're short
Yeah.
as fuck.
I think George Washington was like average height, and he like average height nowadays, and he was supposedly a pretty big character.
Right, yeah,
Really?
because we selectively breed taller people.
Yeah.
Girls like taller dudes.
Oh, so,
So-
kind of just evolution.
Making taller guys and shorter girls.
Yeah.
What the?
There you go.
Yeah, because like average height for a man in Rome was like 5'2". They were tiny.
The Spartans were shrimps.
I'd be sick to go to war with those people. Just like
You'd feel tall.
kangaroo kick their skull.
Yeah, we'd be a nation of giants compared to them.
Oh yeah.
I'd be
That's how
average
China
height.
will feel when we go to war.
Right, they're short. Their
Yeah.
average height is pretty small too.
Dude. Yeah, we have giants among us. I know it. You got your average height now is for like an army guy. You're probably between 6 and 6'5". That's massive.
Yeah. Well, there's like actual proof of real life giants walking among us. It's fucking cool. It was over in Afghanistan. Some of our military people, they have stories about like
Yeah.
some fucking cave or whatever. And this
that
giant.
cave,
I was
the
like,
cave giant.
that would be so
And
cool.
it just started fucking them up.
Yeah.
And they were lighting it up and trying to kill it forever. Yeah.
They have one of the.
It started with a K. The giant of K. It was something.
I don't know.
like that.
I
Let's
know
see.
they found tons of giant human bones and they purposely destroyed them. I know one of the government places destroyed thousands of giant human bones.
Yeah, but I still
7,
believe
8,
that they're
or
here.
8, 9 foot people. I'm just saying they have. There was a lot.
You guys are saying there's still giants that exist?
Kandahar.
Yeah, the giant of Kandahar. Look that up.
Kandahar.
Y'all are interested. That's dope.
Maybe that's what Bigfoot is. It's just a giant.
Maybe it's like
elusive.
literally military people who are like, yeah, we just killed a fucking red-bearded giant. What the fuck happened?
What the
Yeah.
fuck's going on?
Well, they also, I mean, you get like Icelandic people like the mountain and shit, that are like 6'8", 300 pounds, and they look like a normal dude, just giant.
Just huge.
So look,
So it's not.
it was the giant of Kandahar. It was a firefight that a group of special forces got into in Afghanistan in 2002 with a giant human with six fingers or 6 digits on each arm and leg, and also 2 rows of teeth. One of the men wasn't so lucky, and he was killed by this 15-foot tall giant. Fucking
Didn't he get
crazy.
speared through? Something like that.
I believe so. Like
This is real life.
it's real. It's
Like
the
real
U.S.
military, like,
What
oh
the
fuck.
fuck? That's insane.
So
Allegedly.
I believe it.
Oh yeah.
I believe it all.
2 rows of teeth, though? How the fuck would, like, in one mouth, like 2 rows, or like
Yeah, I don't know.
2 mouths?
No, like 2 rows of teeth in the mouth, probably like top and bottom.
Oh.
We start with 2 rows of teeth. You just have the second row up inside. So if you develop wrong, you'll have the second row come down. Because you have your baby teeth and then your real teeth, right?
Oh, that's right.
If you look at an X-ray of like a baby's mouth or whatever,
It's
you'll
creepy.
see all the fucking teeth in there
It's
because they have
gross.
their adult teeth in there. They grow with them, and it's crazy.
That's wild.
Yes, cookie.
Let's see.
Have you seen a penguin's mouth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yes, it is.
Of a baby.
But, anyways, I say we wrap it up there.
Works for
What do
me.
you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys for joining us. We may have a guest on next time, or we may go over some more Founding Father stuff because it's so cool. Go back to our roots with the current climate, you know. But thank you guys for joining us. We'll see y'all next week.
Adios.
Cease.